Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome to the first ever episode of the Call Sheet Breakdowns. I'm your host, Kevin Smith, Coach Kevin Smith, proudly rocking my Ocean City High School football hat here, my terrible towel, and Troy Polamalu jerseys in the background. And I'm bringing you a breakdown of the Steelers run game versus the Green Bay Packers. This is the first ever video breakdown that I've done. I do a podcast that runs on FFSN called The Call Sheet. And so these episodes are going to be referred to as Call Sheet Breakdowns. And in this first episode, we're going to look at Pittsburgh's dominant run game against the Green Bay Packers. How were the Steelers able to handle Green Bay up front and use the run game to propel them to a 23-19 victory in their Week 10 contest? So a couple keys to victory here for the Steelers. They rushed for 205 yards. They had a pretty good split between their feature backs, Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris, 101 for Warren, 86 for Harris. While the backs ran hard, the keys to the game lied more in the scheme and how the Steelers were able to handle Green Bay up front. So three quick keys. One, the zone insert play, which is drawn up on the whiteboard behind me. You probably can't see it, but don't worry, I'll take you through it in detail in this video breakdown. The Steelers ran that play on the first snap from scrimmage and then ran it repeatedly throughout the game with a great deal of success. We'll look at why. Two, the developing chemistry on the offensive line. A couple new pieces on that O-line when you think about Isaac Seumalo and Broderick Jones being inserted into the starting lineup. And the chemistry of that group is developing, and it really came together against Green Bay. And three, the two players I just mentioned, Jones and Seumalo, had dominant performances. All right, so those are our keys to victory or to the success of the run game. Let's get into it. Let's take a look at how the Steelers were able to handle Green Bay up front. All right, so really things started on the first play, first offensive snap of the game for Pittsburgh. Here the Steelers are, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line, just after receiving the opening kickoff. And they get right into the concept I just mentioned, the zone insert play. If you look at the formation, Pittsburgh's in a wide bunch to the top of the screen, 3 receivers to the top of the screen. And they're going to bring the inside receiver, Allen Robinson, down in motion. Robinson's going to motion down into the formation where he's going to insert himself, thus the name zone insert, into the backside C gap or the gap in between tight end Darnell Washington, who is the last man on the line of scrimmage to the left of the screen, and left tackle Dan Moore Jr. So Robinson inserts himself there where he's responsible for climbing to block the corner who's stacked off the ball over Washington. And the rest of the offensive line will zone block back to the right, giving essentially Najee Harris has got a two-way go here. You can see in the pre-snap picture, there's 2 bubbles that the Steelers can attack. There's a big bubble on the right side of the line between right guard James Daniels and the right tackle Broderick Jones. And then there's a bubble on the left side of the line between Washington, the tight end, and Moore, the tackle. Robinson's going to insert himself into that backside bubble. And as you're going to see here, Harris is going to attack the front side bubble. All right, let's let it run, and then we'll take a closer look. Okay, here comes Robinson in motion, inserts himself, but Harris presses the front side predominantly because, boy, as you'll see here, there's a great look there on the front side. So again, man, here comes Robinson slowing it down for you guys in motion. Snap of the football, everybody zone blocking to the right. Watch Jones, the right tackle, 77. Look at him turn out Green Bay's edge player. As he's in the process of turning him out, center Mason Cole and right guard James Daniels are getting a great double team on Green Bay's left defensive tackle, providing a nice hole for Harris to run through. It forces the safety to come down and make the tackle. But by that point, Harris is on to the second level and he's picking up 6 yards. We'll run it one more time. Take another look at it real quick. Zone insert. This would be the dominant run play of the day for the Steelers. Banging it in the B gap, running through the safety, 6-yard pickup. Excellent stuff. Later in the drive, the Steelers find themselves in Green Bay territory, in plus territory here. And they're going to run this concept again, but they're going to put a wrinkle on it. Okay, so different formation now. Now you've got Connor Hayward as the H-back just off the ball to the right side of the line, and the Steelers are in an 11 personnel spread formation. So they've got a single receiver to the top of the screen, to the bottom of the screen. Out of the picture, they've got a slot formation, and they get a 6-man box from Green Bay. So basically, they've got 6 to block 6. They're going to run the same concept here, except from a different look. You're going to see left tackle Dan Moore Jr. turn out on the edge player. Everybody will zone block back to the right, but this time, rather than motion a receiver down to insert himself in the backside, you're going to see right tackle Broderick Jones pull. One of the things that the young rookie out of Georgia does well is move in space. He's really fluid for a huge man, 6'5" and 315 pounds. But watch him get out of his stance. Probably gets out a little bit early. It's probably a false start. He probably cheats the snap count by a hair. But still, man, watch him move, cover up the linebacker, and create a nice little cutback lane for Jaylen Warren. Here we go. Oh, a little early there. Jones wrapping up. Warren chugs it inside. Love the spin move there by Jaylen Warren. I don't even know if he needed the spin move. It was very Robin Williams in the best of times, man. Excessive spin moves. But it's a beautiful move. Here it is again. Slow it down for you. Watch Jones really get off is he moving early? Probably. He doesn't get flagged for it, but boy, he's getting out of his stance. The big guy, here he comes. Everybody's zone blocking back. Jones inserts himself in the B gap, creates a heck of a lead block here for Warren, and Warren slams that thing up inside. Great little spin move. He probably did need the spin move. It buys him some extra yards. Nice little move there. And again, man, a big positive play, run and zone insert. Here it is one more time. At full speed, the big man coming around, great kick out on the backer, little spin there, and another excellent chunk play. All right, so how do they finish off this drive? Here's the touchdown. This is, again, the first drive of the game. The Steelers go 75 yards in 10 plays, and they finish it off with a 4-yard touchdown run from Najee Harris. And again, man, watch the blocks on the right side of the line. So this is the left of the screen. Watch Jones, the right tackle, Darnell Washington, the tight end. Watch the great scoop blocks that they get on their defenders to the backside of the play, and then the zone blocks on the front side that create a beautiful little seam that Najee Harris slips through into the end zone. We'll run it at full speed, and then we'll go back and look at it. So here we go, right? Scoop block, cut back, touchdown, piece of cake, walk in for Harris. Let's look at it a little slower though, man. Look at the great job that Jones and Washington do to cut off their defenders on the backside. Watch this first step by Jones out of his stance. Beautiful, man. He's won the block already. Look at that. He's won the block already, and he hasn't even put his first step in the ground just yet. He's won inside leverage, and now he's going to be able to cut to seal that defender. And here's James Daniels getting a double team on the one tech, and you can already see it developing, man. Like the Red Sea, this sucker's going to part, and Harris is going to slam it up in there, right? Jones invites his defender upfield and just walls him off, right? The Steelers then block back on the nose and the linebacker, and Harris cuts it back and right up into the end zone. Just a thing of beauty. One more time all the way through, man. This is a beautiful play to finish a heck of an opening drive for the Steelers. All right, so Pittsburgh there has gone 75 yards in 10 plays, right? They've driven right down the field. They don't score opening touchdowns very often, so this is special. It's the first opening touchdown drive of the season for the Steelers. In their previous, well, I take that back. It's the second opening touchdown drive. They had one the previous week against Tennessee. In the 7 games prior, this is an amazing number right here. In the 7 games prior to those two opening drive touchdowns against Tennessee and Green Bay, the Steelers had run 28 plays for 39 yards. 28 plays for 39 yards. They had no points and 2 turnovers on their opening possessions. And then in back-to-back weeks, they string together 70-plus yard touchdown drives in the openers. All right, could they keep it going? Well, the answer is yes, as they get the ball back on their next possession, and once again, they go right down the field, and the run game is huge in that process. All right, so here we go. We start with an excellent combo block here by the Steelers. So I mentioned in the opening that the chemistry of the offensive line is getting better and better, and you're going to see that on full display on this play right here. If I back it up just a little bit, look at the offensive lineman, man. You freeze it right here. You know, you can see, look at Mason Cole, the center, his head's turned. He's communicating calls to Daniels, and those calls are being relayed up and down the line, and for good reason, because Green Bay's now starting to jump around. So this is a great job of the offensive line of staying disciplined and communicating their calls and switching off on some stunning defensive linemen. So look at the two defensive tackles in the middle of Green Bay's line. You got the left tackle lined up in between Daniels and Cole. You got the right tackle lined up in between Sayamalu and Moore. Both of those guys are going to slant to their right. The hope on Green Bay's part here is that the Steelers will get caught up doubling the slanters and that nobody will climb to pick up the linebackers. But the Steelers are going to be more disciplined than that. So I'll run the play in its entirety, and then we'll come back and we'll look at what Pittsburgh does. Here we go. Green Bay jumps around. There's the slant, but the Steelers don't take the bait. They don't bite. They communicate the switch off, and it's another nice run for Warren. All right, let's look at how the Steelers do this in more detail. All right, snap of the football. Watch Green Bay's tackles. Watch them slant to the right. As they both jump to the right there, they're hoping that the right guard Daniels and the center Cole will get hung up on the left defensive tackle, and on the backside, Sayamalu and Moore will get hung up on the right defensive tackle. But they don't. They switch it. Cole takes over the defensive tackle. That allows Daniels to now climb. All right, and now here comes Sayamalu working on that defensive tackle and Cole climbing to get to the linebacker. Excellent job of communicating those switches and working along their tracks. That's the thing about the zone game, man. Again, this is another zone run. This looks like mid zone to me, not inside or outside zone, but mid zone. And the idea is that the blockers stay on a track. They're not ascribed to a man. So watch as the Steelers do this again. And here they go. They stay on their track. They trade responsibilities. They climb to the second level. And again, excellent run by Pittsburgh. All right, now the Steelers have been motioning around and shifting and motioning and using a lot of pre-snap movement, trying to get Green Bay confused. But watch what they do here on the very next play, right? They just hit Green Bay for a good gain. Now they get out of the huddle. They get up on the ball, and what do? They go fast, first sound, right? And they toss the ball wide, and now Najee Harris hits it downhill. Okay, so what again, right? Here go the Steelers. They hurry up to the line. They get set, snap the ball, boom, and they go. Right? Again, man, excellent use of tempo there by Matt Canada. This wasn't no huddle. They actually changed running backs here. They switched from Warren to Harris, but the tempo was faster. They didn't use a full cadence at the line. They didn't shift in motion. They just snapped it quickly. And you can see Green Bay's not totally set. They're not totally ready for the snap. Steelers get great leverage again. Watch Sayamalu, man, the left guard. Sayamalu wins immediately, just like Jones did earlier. He wins right at the snap. Look at Sayamalu's first step. That hard step left. He's won this block already. This is a toss left, so it's an outside zone concept. He's got to reach that down lineman, and he's already beaten him, right? Look at 95 on Green Bay. Sayamalu's head is outside of his head, and Sayamalu's won the block. And watch him just casually discard 95, throw him to the ground inside. And look at that seam that creates, right? As Dan Moore Jr. now is on a safety, right? Green Bay's got a safety walk down, and now you got Sayamalu creating the rushing lane for the back. Moore's going to block a safety here. Mason Cole is going to do a good enough job climbing up on the backer so he doesn't run free. Nice big hole for Najee Harris. He hits it for a big gain. Again, great job by the O-line, communicating and getting into their blocks quickly. Excellent technique work by those guys. All right, how do the Steelers finish this drive? Well, guess what they come back to, man? Does this look familiar? Wide bunch, right? The first time we saw it on the first play of the game, it was set to the right-hand side. This time it's set to the left-hand side. Wide bunch. Robinson's going to come in motion. He's going to insert himself, climb up to the second level. This time, Jaylen Warren is the back, and he's going to follow Robinson up into the hole rather than keeping it on the front side, and it's going to wind up in the end zone for 6. So here we go. Right here comes Robinson. Everybody zones left, but now they add a puller here. So this is a little bit like old school power, right? Watch the puller here as we see the left guard, Sayamalu, also get on the move here, right? So now you've got a puller in Sayamalu, you've got a lead blocker in Robinson. It's like a combination of power and insert as you get 2 lead blockers now up into the hole, covering up Green Bay's linebackers and then chip into work to the second level. I mean, it's really awesome stuff, man. This is power football. This is what Steeler fans want to see out of their run game. Guys are blocking down, guys are pulling and kicking out, right? The backs are running hard, and boom, Warren ends up running through a tackle and into the end zone for 6. So the first 2 drives of the game result in 2 Steeler touchdowns, predominantly on the backs of their power run game. All right, I'll show you one more clip before we wrap this up, right? Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, lots of people have been critical of Matt Canada for all the pre-snap motion he uses, all the moving around. And I've heard people say it's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors, a bunch of mumbo jumbo. What's it actually do? Well, let's take a look at what it actually does. All right, here's an example from the second half where the Steelers get into a compressed formation. You see 6 across the front, 6-man blocking surface with the tight end set to the right. But Deontay Johnson and Allen Robinson are in a reduced formation, so they're like inline blockers themselves. You really got about 8 guys now on the inside, on the interior here. Robinson now is going to motion across. Watch what this does to Green Bay's front. See them bump the linebacker? They bring the safety over with Robinson, but they bump the backer 58 so that he's now lined up as the edge. They don't want to get out leveraged for fear that Robinson could be reaching and the Steelers may be running wide here. So they got to get a defender outside the edge, and the Steelers have been running it down their throats, so they don't want that defender to be a corner. So instead they bump out a linebacker, right? But look at the seam this creates. Green Bay is essentially giving Pittsburgh the B and C gaps, right? The end is wide and the backer's outside the end and the safety's 7 yards off the football. The Steelers have an open gap if they want to attack there, and sure enough, they do. Here goes Najee Harris, right, on his best run of the season, right downhill into that wide open C gap on the outside zone concept. Boom, 20-some yards, right, as Harris finishes that run with I wish he would stop hurdling people and just put his shoulder down and run through them. But again, man, look at what the motion does. The motion gets Green Bay into a bad situation. They're out of their run fits. They've lost this play already. Look at that hole right there. As you see Mason Cole about to climb up to the linebacker, the safety's just kind of sitting there one-on-one. He doesn't do a damn thing. Look at the safety. He doesn't even know where the ball is. Let's go back and look at 37, right? The safety. He can't find the football. There's just too many bodies climbing up in his face. 37. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Is it inside? No. Oh, there he goes. Right? I mean, the Steelers are getting too many blockers at the point of attack for Green Bay to A, account for, and B, get into good run fits, and it creates confusion with the defense. So a lot of the shifts and motions you see Matt Canada use, they do pay off, man. They have a purpose. And now, 9 games into the season, man, we're really starting to see them pay dividends. Pittsburgh rushed for 166 yards 2 weeks ago against Tennessee, 205 yards in a dominant performance by the offensive line against the Green Bay Packers. So you want to be excited about the offense, Steeler fans? Be excited about the run game. Everybody, hey, the passing game isn't there yet where everybody wants it to be, but the run game's coming around. And if last year's any indication, that means lots of wins on the horizon for the Steelers. So thanks for taking a look at this with me. I'm Kevin Smith. This has been a Call Sheet video breakdown. Tune in next week. We'll get you with another one. Take care, everybody.